strikes near Marib. Now, this obviously has been an ongoing issue in that part of the world. And a couple of months ago as well, we spoke on this very show about the issue where the Saudi-led government was trying to not give the Houthis access to water or to the Yemenis as a whole. There was also talks about wells and pipelines, water pipelines being destroyed to further create more hardship on the Yemeni people. But this time around, we're talking about the killing of Yemeni rebel forces or the Houthis. Let's hear what Dr. Abdulrahman Al Maamari has to say about this issue. Assalamu alaikum, welcome to the program.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Untold hardship being experienced by the Yemeni people as a whole, but very specifically the Houthi rebels. Talk to us about what exactly is playing out in that part of the world.
Okay, first of all, thank you for inviting me for this program, and salam to you and also all your audience. Actually, recently the battles have intensified, I think, for the last 2 or 3 months, even though that the war has been going on for about 7 years now. Since the Houthis, they took over the capital of Yemen, Sana'a. They seized the capital and they exercised the coup on president and the government of Yemen. For sure, millions of Yemenis, unfortunately, they suffer of this ongoing fighting. Also, unfortunately, millions of people, they flee from the northern parts of Yemen to the city of Marib now, where the clashes is about. City of Marib in 2015, can you imagine that it's just a home for about 300,000 people? But now, according to the figures from the international NGOs, that the people in city of Marib is about 3 million people. Of course, majority of them, they are the displaced or the IDPs, internally displaced people now, and they live in Marib. So yeah, the Houthis trying their best to approach the city of Marib to fully control the Yemen, but also they face with resistance from the Yemeni army and also the tribesmen.
So this is a very complex situation, is it not? It's also you have the Houthis who are backed, the Houthi rebels, obviously, who are being backed by the Iranian government. You also have a portion of Sunni Muslims in that part of the world, Yemenis. And then there's the Saudis that are backing the Sunni Muslims in this whole big conflict. Let's understand what exactly this conflict is all about. Is it self-determination? Has it to do with the oil situation, oil and water? How do they go forward to try and resolve this issue? Because we do know that the government, the international government realizes that there's a lot of oil in northern Yemen. So is that what it's all about?
Yeah, thank you for this question. Yeah, of course, the economic play vital roles in this war. Even though that the war starts in the first place as a political hostility between the two parties, the government and the Houthis in the first place. Then at the end of, then later on, also the regional players, as you have mentioned, specifically Iran and Saudi Arabia, also they interfere in the Yemeni issue. The Houthis backed by Iran, the Saudis they back or they support the president and the government. So also the the scene in Yemen becomes more complicated when this regional players interfere in the Yemeni war. So there is a political side for this war. There is a sectarian side for this war, and also, of course, the economic side of the war is there. Marib is one of the richest cities in Yemen, which is almost they have one of the big facilities, or the oil and gas facilities in Yemen. Also to control the city of Marib, and also to control this facility. Yeah.
So with all of this disruption, displacement of people, migration of people, and these ongoing fighting, are the Yemeni people in fact able to drill for oil and to try and uplift their economic situation? Because we are also hearing that currently what's happening in that part of the world has been called one of the worst humanitarian crises by the United Nations.
I couldn't hear you properly, but if I'm not mistaken, you are talking about, or you are asking about how wealthy is this city of Marib with oil and gas in the poor country like Yemen? The question?
And the fact that with this ongoing war and rebels, the ongoing war between the rebels and the government forces, it does impact on the drilling for oil and trying to uplift the country economically.
Yeah, the economic factor can come as a second place in this war, actually. But the political agenda is the first one, actually, here. The political agenda, I mean, locally or domestically, when the Houthis, they control the country and they rule the whole country, and regionally, when Iran, they can stretch again, and they can find a footstep in Yemen. So they find also some space on the ocean, the Indian Ocean, and to the Red Sea. So also the regional interference is there. So politically, this is the first, I think, goal for this ongoing war. Then the economic factor, including the oil and gas in the city of Marib, it comes just as a second aim of this war. We know that the whole country is under the blockade and from the international community because of the Houthis. So there is no source the oil to supply the rest of the cities, except from those little comes from the city of Marib. So the Houthis, they determined to control this city of Marib, also and also so they can control the oil and gas facilities there in Marib, so they can supply all the cities that they are now controlling and ruling.
Is there any chance at all for a truce between the government-led forces and the Houthis? What will it take for them to come together and come to some sort of an agreement, possibly a coalition government, and the sharing of land, resources, etc.? Or is that putting it too simplistically?
Unfortunately, so far, the two parties or the warring parties, they can reach this kind of agreement. Of course, the Houthis, they find themselves now, they win some lands or some more lands, and some victories on the land. So they are not forced to sit on the table for negotiations. The government, they call the international community, the UN, practice some pressure on the Houthis and also on Iran, so they could stick together and to negotiate. But I'm not that optimistic that this could happen in the short while or on short term.
Dr. Abdulrahman Al Maamari, Jazakallah so much for your time. Go well and keep us in your du'as. Assalamu alaikum to you.
Alaikum salam. Thank you so much. Thank you.
9:48 exactly. News and views right here on Salam Media. Next, we'll be talking with Basil Manuel from NAPTOSA about the matric exams.
Looking to get your kick? Kick